Hey, how's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me. This is the test two review. Apologize for the delays in getting it out to you. This week has been really busy, but I'm going to try to work through this for you and feel free to follow along. You can stop it, rewind it, play it over again, and use this as you work through the test. This week's test, let me first share my screen. So already hitting the old technical difficulties. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen all right. Basically, first steps here in the test are read through everything and start setting up your file. For this test, you'll create the primary components of a floor plan. We talked a little bit about this in class. That's walls, grids, levels, and dimensions. You'll begin by drawing the exterior walls of the building and read the instructions carefully. Everything you need is clearly listed to do. So this is all stuff you guys have done in the weekly practice work. I'm just going to try and go through it once for you in case there's some part of it that you missed. I'm sure there'll be parts of it that I will struggle with too, just by the nature of the thing. So first thing we want to do is start a new project. And it's going to be called Small Office Test 2. So I already have Revit open here. We'll go to New, Architectural Template, press OK. And first thing we want to do is let this get started here. That coffee, essential for every architect. So once this gets loaded, the first step is to create the saved file. So you go to File, Save As, Project. And then I'm just going to save mine to my desktop. And then later, after you created a PDF, you'll also upload this Revit file to the Dropbox along with your PDF as well. So I had already copied the file location by pressing Control-C, but now right here in the file name, I'm just going to press Control-V to paste that information in there, change the last piece of it to Cot, or that's my last name, change it to your last name, save. All right, now that first step has been completed. So we'll come back to our prompt. Draw a basic wall, exterior brick on CM2, 110 by 68. Dimensions should be set from the finished face of exterior on both sides of the wall and show the dimensions. So I'll just come here to wall, click wall type, and I'm going to change the wall type from exterior to exterior brick on CMU. Brick on CMU. We're going to go from the, I don't want to go from the wall center line. I actually want to change in the options menu to finish face of exterior. Finish face of exterior. 110 feet, you just have to type in 110, 110. You don't need to add in any inches or anything like that. And we've created the first side of our building. Second side of our building, 68 feet, same procedure. Third side, 110, same procedure. And then we can just enclose our box. Now, you'll notice that even though we've created a wall type, we can't yet see the different pieces of our wall. So we're going to come down here to Visual Style, or next to Visual Style, you'll see Detail Level. We're going to switch that to Fine. Now you can see all the different pieces of the wall. You have your brick veneer, your air cavity or 3/8 inch gap. You have your sheathing, then you have your CMU, your interior gypsum wallboard, furring, and the actual gypsum itself. Now it asks to do the dimensions. Let me just confirm here. It asks us to draw the dimensions set from the finished face of exterior, okay? So what we're gonna do is come into the Annotate tab, click Aligned Dimension. We're gonna go, not from the wall center, but the wall face. Wall face, finish edge of the brick to finish edge of the brick. You can put the dimensions on top or on the side. I switch it up sometimes, but the main thing about dimensioning is stay consistent. So if you're going to dimension from the outside face, stay with that convention. If you're going to be on the top, stay with that convention. And you can use dimensioning in the way that best serves the story you're trying to tell. So that second step is picking the dimension. After that, we want to modify the basic wall to create a compound wall. The compound wall should have the following components: a 5-0 cast in place concrete base, a wall reveal at 5 feet, a precast concrete parapet at the top of the wall. So this is a little bit of a tricky task, but not too bad. What we want to do is create a new wall type. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go to, I would personally do it like this. Come down all the way to the bottom of your list where you see stacked walls. Okay. And now it's changed this wall to a stacked wall, but we're gonna change it again to fit our needs. So you go to edit type, we're gonna duplicate type, we're gonna do, I just wanna check the name for what it calls it in the prompt. It calls it compound wall with cast in place concrete base, wall reveal, and precast concrete parapet. So first step there is exterior. I'm just going to name this exterior wall. The name of the wall type is for your own benefit so that you can find it in your project browser. So exterior wall with concrete base, CMU, and parapet. All right, so we'll name it like that. And then we come in here to edit structure. So you can see the different layers inside of this edit assembly. Because we chose a stacked wall and we duplicated it, you can now see all these different layers. So let's just go back and confirm what our wall is going to be made up of. The first portion of the wall is a 5-0 cast in place concrete base. So we're going to want to insert another layer, and we're going to change this layer to be concrete. Where is that? 12-inch concrete. Yeah, let's use that. I mean, I'm not seeing another one here. There's retaining, there's 12-inch concrete. I want to go with that for now, just because if we were to change that, we would have to go back, change the other wall type. Hopefully we don't have to do that, but we may still have to do that step as well. So the foundation is the first part, and it goes up to 5 feet tall. After that, the second part of this wall, we're going to come back to the prompt, wall reveal at 5 feet from the base. Okay. And we're actually going to add in the second layer, which will be the CMU and brick. All right. The top layer, which will be the parapet, that is going to be, again, cast in place concrete. And we're going to need to create a new wall type for that. But we'll do that separately. So this is going to be at it doesn't give us a height. Fascinating. All right, no biggie. We'll set that to 10 feet or 8 feet. We'll set the offset, no offset, and we'll set the, I'm just going to delete this, insert a new wall type, move this down here. Move back to the brick on CMU, the foundation at 5 feet. This CMU goes from 5 feet, and then this top piece is variable. Why don't we first try and see what this looks like? To 5 feet, 5. Let's go to 10, and then we want to come up to this top wall and switch it off of variable. But let's see what this wall looks like. We can do that by pressing preview down here in the bottom left-hand corner. So now I can see the construction of my wall, and it doesn't quite look like what I want it to look like, right? So we have the cast in place, and then we have a brick CMU above that. Okay, we also want to have the parapet at the top. So you can see, if you go, you have this bottom piece, which goes up to 5 feet. Then you have the brick above that. Then above that, you have the parapet. And whatever height you set your top wall to, that will be the height of your finished parapet. So you'll have 5 feet up to the base of the brick, then you'll have your brick height up to 10 feet or an additional 5 feet of brick, and then above that we'll have your parapet, and we can set that separately. The last step here is to add a reveal, a wall reveal at 5 feet from the base. All right. Adding a wall reveal is insert, okay, and we want to I would do this a different way, to be honest with you. I would delete this out. So we have this wall. I'm going to press OK. I'm going to press OK again. All right, so now it's showing that wall. If we open up our 3D view, you can see that wall type here. And it looks a little bit funny. I mean, it's not how I would have pictured it at all, to be honest with you. Basic wall to create a compound wall. And what this needs to look like is a reveal here at 1 foot. So the way I would do that is I go to architecture, press the drop down on the wall. Here's where that reveal command is located. And we're just going to put that right at the base of the wall. And we can do that on all sides. And we also want to change these to be matching with our other exterior stacked wall, exterior wall with concrete base and CMU. All right, so now we still need to add in that reveal. This is that reveal. You'll notice it's not actually a part of the wall assembly. I've created this reveal separately by placing it on the wall, but in the end model, like who's really gonna, there's no difference as long as you're able to place that. So what we want to do is make sure that that's aligned with the 5 feet area. So you press the align tool, we'll go to the bottom side of the brick and then the top of the reveal. So now you have that reveal. It's correctly aligned. Everything's good there. One thing I kind of want to do is go back and thicken this concrete so that it's as thick as the wall. So the way we would do that is we would go to the, click the wall type, edit type, look at the structure. Our wall, these are the pieces of our wall. Foundation 12-inch, exterior brick on CMU, and foundation 12-inch. So now that we know that, what we need to do is edit the pieces of that wall. So if we go to exterior brick on CMU, we edit that wall, and now we can look at what is the structure of that wall. Now, the pieces of that wall actually exist as their own thing. So we can see the total thickness here, 1, 7, and 1/2 inches. So now we need to make our concrete base as thick as that wall so that you can have the, you know, the same stack on the wall with the masonry above and the concrete wall kind of all fitting together as one. So I'm going to do press OK because I got the information that I need. Just going to back out of that. Now I'm going to go to the wall that I've chosen as foundation concrete. I'm going to actually duplicate this wall, and we're going to call it precast because that's what the prompt is asking for. Precast concrete. We're going to call it precast, and we're going to call it 1 foot 7 and 1/2 inches concrete, because that's the thickness of our wall. So we do 7.5 cast in place concrete. Okay, press OK. And now when we go to our stacked wall type and we press edit, we go back to structure. Now we can change that foundation wall to precast. It looks like they're not aligned correctly. So we come over to offset and we start to adjust this until we reach the alignment that we want. Looks like we're somewhere around here, some offset, some kind of 0, 3 and 7/8 maybe. Oh, no, 0, 3 and 7/8. Now you notice I don't actually have to type in the tick marks. What I can do is just press 0 for the number of feet, space, and then just simply type in the number of inches. So I'll do 3.75. And that's aligned our wall. The offset is now aligned our wall. So now this is what our wall looks like. I want to have the same kind of wall on top because I don't want water to infiltrate into my brick cavity. So I'm going to put the precast wall on top as well. So after I've done that, we'll switch this to precast. We'll switch our offset to 0.75, 0.375, and now our wall is aligned. We press OK. Now you can see our wall is like correctly aligned and working, as it should be. If we go back to our reveal and select it, we can come up here to add or remove wall. Click that and click the walls. Oh, resolve, delete. All right, so we don't have to restart over with our reveal because it gave me a warning message. So we'll just come back up to architecture, wall reveal, and we'll set that reveal and add all the different walls we want it to be associated with. And then align it to the location we want. Offset from level, 5 feet. Oh, it's actually higher than I want it to be. I want it to be at 4.5. There we go. It's a 6-inch reveal, by the way. So now the edge of my building is enclosed. So you'll notice one of my walls isn't the same as all the other ones, and I want to change that, right? But I don't want to go through the project browser and everything. If I come up here to modify, and I hover over this icon right here that says match type property, I select that, then I click the wall that I want to match, then I click it to the wall that I want to match it with. And now it's made that wall the same as all the other walls. And the only thing it hasn't done is brought my sweep over, but I just select my sweep, click add wall, and select that wall. What a hassle. What a hassle. All right, just make sure we have everything enclosed before we finish this off. You'll notice I've been working in the 3D view for most of this. If we go back to the floor plan, you can kind of see how that works. Basically, then we want to add the reveal back in. Go to the reveal. I'm going to go to the 3D view here and just add this in. Select all my walls. And we're done. The last step, set it to that 4.6 height. Now the exterior of the building is complete. Sorry, that was a tedious process, but you see, sometimes I have the same kind of struggles with sort of following along with what it's asking to do. Set the detail level to fine. We already did that. So now we want to, one thing that I find odd here is that in the prompt, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, we can see the detail level of the wall. So I believe that the wording here is confusing. They're calling it a concrete base, when I think the terminology that they need to use there is concrete foundation wall, which would be below grade or underground, and then the brick would be above that. So not a big deal. All we have to do is select our wall type, go to edit type, edit structure, and we want to set this to -5. Or yeah, won't let us do it. Okay, so what we'll end up doing here is cancel out of that. We're actually going to select all of our walls and offset them 5. So -5. That's now, it's going to kill our reveal, but that's okay. No big. It actually didn't kill our reveal. It just placed it in the right place. So what it just did is it took that concrete base and placed it below the first level. So you can see that now the brick is the beginning of the wall. And that's kind of what the prompt asks us to do. But now we do have to make some adjustments to our wall. We want to adjust the height of the brick so that rather than the exterior brick being a 10, we want the whole building itself to be a 10. So let's set it to 15, right? Press OK, press OK. And now you get that. The reason why it's not showing the top of our wall is because the wall's not tall enough. So if we make it taller to 25 feet, now we're showing our parapet as well. Parapet, say it the right way. So anyway, basically that's the exterior of your building. Okay, next steps here. We want to draw vertical and horizontal grids. Label the grids along the east to west orientation. Label A and B along the north and south orientation. Align and lock grids 1, 2, and 3 to the exterior faces of the wall. Okay? So grids are pretty simple prospect. You can see now we're starting to really look like just like the prompt because, you know, of course the wording was off a bit, but we've been able to adjust everything just as we needed. So now we're going to add grids. We want to come to the Architecture tab. Throw this down here. Architecture tab. And we're just going to draw in the grids that we need. I'm going to start from the bottom with my grid. 1, 2, 3. And then I need 1 over here and 1 up here. Right? It asks us to align these grids to the exterior wall, modify, align, click on that exterior face, and then you just snap these grids to the face of the wall. And then with this grid, because we can't snap it, we're just going to move it. And you do that by grabbing it in the middle, and I'm just going to pull it till we find the center triangle of that wall. All right. Here's an interesting thing you can do with grids is once you bring them all into alignment, they will automatically stay in alignment. So now I come over to 2. Now everything's kind of working in conjunction. You'll notice that I lost my dimension strings when I changed my wall type. You know, I've gone through and changed the construction of my wall so many different times that now it's a totally different, you know, it took away my dimension strings. So go back, do that step one more time, just to make sure we have a compliance. Same over here. I think I noticed that my wall is not the correct dimension at this point, right? So if I select the wall I want to move, oh geez, that is frustrating. We want to activate dimension. So now I can, we've had some trouble with this during the weekly assignments. Activated dimension allows me to now adjust this 110, right? That is the prompt, and 68. All right, so one thing that did happen was we noticed our grids aren't actually locked to the wall. So we want to again align them. Again, align this top grid. And we need to slide this over since the new center line of our wall has adjusted. Now we're going to lock them. We do that by clicking this button. The grid top and bottom are already locked. This might not be a feature of Revit LT. It may not be a feature of Revit LT because it should be locked to this wall. These two elements should be simultaneously conjoined, and they're not. It may have to do with it being on the face of the wall, but I'm not going to be a stickler about it. The main thing is just getting these grid pieces to lock to themselves. We also want to rename them per the prompt. It says label 1, 2, and 3 east to west, and A and B north to south. So it should look 1, 2, 3. That's actually west to east, but no big deal. 1, 2, 3. A, I like to use all caps, and B. So that's really what it's asking for in the prompt there. Now we've got the correct dimensions, we've got our grids, we've got our exterior wall, and you can see that everything's been modeled correctly. Now it's kind of frustrating me a little bit that this isn't, in the right spot. So I'm just gonna try to modify the return. In fact, I want to delete this altogether. It's just not working for me. So we'll just draw it again. I mean, this is kind of like the practice of Revit. We'll draw a reveal. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've now got all of our wall reveals. And now we can place this right at 5 feet since we don't have to contend with the water table or the base. It might seem difficult to understand, like, where is the floor at? Well, we haven't drawn a floor in this property yet or in this building yet. So because Revit LT, which is the web access version, does not offer that, I'm just going to use the floor tool instead of the massing tool. And we'll just draw our floor right on the inside of the building. I'm just using a generic floor right now. And now you can kind of see where the floor of that building is in relationship to the outside. All right, let's go back to our prompt. We have all of our grids done, aligned and locked. And the next step here is create and rename the levels. So we have levels already, but we need to add in one more level for the roof. We're also going to change the height of the levels. So we do that in the elevations. I usually just go straight to the south elevation. So we already have level 1 and 2, but we need one more level, which is the roof. So simple enough here, we just copy and paste that up, right? And then you click on that title and you can rename it to roof, right? On all these titles, all you have to do is click them and you can rename them. It'll rename the corresponding views also. So when it says rename the corresponding views, this is what's happening. Okay, just go back. If you look in my floor plan, you'll see it says level 1. When I change it to level 1 and rename the corresponding views, it's now changed that floor plan and ceiling plan name to level 1. This is the power of Revit. When we used to work in AutoCAD, you used to have to go through and like physically change all the names of everything all over the place. But Revit automatically does all that for you, saving tons of time. So if we go back to the prompt, it gives us the heights that we want. We want our level 1 at 0. Level 2 is at 8'6", and we want our roof at 12 feet. So we're going to change this to 8.5. We're going to change this to, excuse me, just got to check the prompt again, 12. Just click on the height. You can change it just like that. And then we're going to change the construction of our wall to match our levels. So basically, we're going to change it to brick to 12, right? And I think that's right. Because the way we constructed this, it's a little bit tricky. We have the floor offset. So if the roof is at 8'6", we have to add in 5 to that. So that'd be 13.6, 13.5. I think that's going to put us at our right height. Still too high. Edit one last time. Take that to 12.5, and I think we're good there. We're still off. Easy enough to fix this. We can just go into modify, measure between 2 points, and we'll pick the level and the beginning of the parapet. The parapet starts at the roof. So we will just adjust this wall to be at 12 feet. Because it's actually at the true level. So now you have level 2, roof, everything's done here. I think that partly why this is confusing, even as I'm reading through it, is that the drawing conventions aren't quite making sense here. I think that the creator of this prompt was considering the roof to be the height of the parapet, when in reality, that's not actually how it works. So if you can look in a 3D view, the parapet wall is above the roof. The purpose of a parapet is to protect somebody from falling over the edge. The roof actually exists below the parapet, the top of the parapet, and it acts as a safety measure. It's typically 3.5 feet high to protect people from falling over the edge. Okay, so it kind of remains to be seen. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in the prompt and see if maybe they get into any of that. No, they don't. No, they don't. But no biggie. What we'll do is we'll put our ceilings at level 2, and we will put a roof on there separately. So like I said, the roof kind of looks like this. We'll go to add roof. Add roof by footprint. I want to put the roof at level 2, and then I'm just going to sketch in a generic roof that looks like, or I said level 2. Let's put it at the actual roof. Sorry. And then I'm going to go from the face of the CMU to the face of the CMU. Like we're stacking our roof on top of the structure, which is the CMU. And it's going to be a flat roof, so we're going to turn off all of the slopes by adjusting that in the options. I don't want to attach anything to the roof personally. And you go to 3D view, and now you can see that that is part of the roof. If we were to attach it to the roof, attach, unjoin elements, it still doesn't show that line. I think that's kind of weird. So I'm not going to attach it. Do not attach. If we wanted to see where those two pieces interact, we could go to modify, join, and then select the roof and select the wall. Select the roof, select the wall. Now you can see exactly how that roof interacts with that wall. From a graphic standpoint, it can be helpful to you. And what we've really done here is created the assembly of our building. So now you have the box, you have the parapet, you have the walls, you have the reveal, all of that good stuff happening at the same time. And I'm going to adjust our the height of our wall. What I would like is for our wall to go up to the roof plus the parapet of 3.5 inches or 3.5 feet. Same here. I want to go up to the roof plus our parapet of 3.5 inches. And you see how I've created elements and now gone back and I'm editing them in, once I've created them. This is how building information modeling works, is you kind of work to greater and greater levels of detail. So since I'm going to be doing the same thing with both of these walls, I'll just select them both, come over here to height. I'm going to set it to roof, top offset 3.5. Now you can see I have all the elements of our construction kind of completed here, working together. Let's go back to our prompt. What we're going to do next is draw some walls in there. We're going to dimension in between our grid lines. Let's start with that. Dimension between grids 1, 2, and 3. Use proper dimensioning. Use proper dimensioning standards for steps A and B. Use the equal sign to equally separate grids 1, 2, and 3. So I did that manually, but we can do it here with the grid lines as well. Add an overall building dimension from grid line 1 to grid line 3. So we've already done this step, but we're going to do it again using the grid lines. So architecture or annotation, align, grid 1 to grid 2 to grid 3. And we'll click this equal symbol. So now we know those are equal. And we're going to add one more dimension. One more dimension that is the overall dimension of the building. I'm going to delete out the wall dimension and we'll just clean this up. I'm not going to even bother with deleting it. I'm just going to move our dimension using the grips to the correct element. And we'll come back here to our prompt. After we've done that, we want to draw the interior lines. Basic interior 4 7/8 inch partition, and it's going to go up to the height of the roof. It doesn't tell us yet how far apart the walls need to be, but we're going to use dimensions to do that. It says draw interior walls, draw one from the west wall. All right, so basically the west wall of the project, plan west, and we're going to draw it 22 feet from the interior face of the exterior wall. So we'll come to architecture, wall, we'll go to interior, 4 7/8, and now it's showing me already a ghosted dimension. So I'm going to just come close for now because I am going to refine that some more. In order to get an accurate dimension, I just snap a dimension string. It's already set to wall face. I'll just come in from the face of the wall to the face of this chipboard, and we're going to set that to 22. Typically in practice, you dimension to the face of the stud, but the prompt here is asking for face of wall. So from the interior face of the exterior and face of the interior wall, 22 feet. We've got that done. Now we're going to draw 5 vertical walls that are shown below, and that is like this. So there's going to be an equal sign that kind of holds it all together. Just so that it looks like the picture, I'm going to slide my dimension over here, and then I'm just going to draw in these walls. I'm going to draw one, and then I'm just going to copy it over so that it's easier. One, copy again, click multiple this time so that you can do more than one. 2, 3, and the last wall is 5. Oh, you see that I kind of misaligned the last one, but it's okay. I can just grab the end and snap it into place. All right. So now in order to get these all aligned, we come back to architecture. And this time I'm going to snap to the center line of the wall so that everything is perfectly symmetrical. Oh, I missed it. Just go back, click on the element that you accidentally dimensioned to, and then re-click where you want it to be. Click to the center. Click again to the center. And then to get to your last element, you can tab through to get to the different pieces of the wall. I want it to be on the face. Set it there like that, and now press the equal button. Everything nice and neat, perfectly clean, moving right along. Next step here is dimension from the inside face and to the center line, back to the inside face of the exterior wall. Use the equal symbol. We did that. Now we're going to insert a single flush 36 by 84 door with tags as shown below. There are dimensions showing you where the door needs to go, so we want to follow that. It's 2'6" to the center line. All right, oops. So we go to architecture, door. I already have 36 by 48 loaded. Tags are not selected. I don't know why, but I think it's because I don't have a tag loaded in the project yet. But you see how the ghost dimension shows exactly where I need to put it. So we'll put that door there. Let's figure out why I don't have a tag loaded. I'm going to figure out why I don't have a tag loaded. So I'll go to annotate, tag, and hover over the door. Oh, looks like I do have a tag loaded. It just didn't want to cooperate there. I like to put my tags in the inside of the door. I'm going to go ahead and change the scale of my drawing to 1/4 so that everything fits a little bit more nicely. I'm going to turn off leaders right here so that you don't have that little line inside. And we'll come back here to the next step. Insert a window fixed, insert windows, fix 36 by 48 into the exterior wall, tag on placement, match the dimensions shown in the image below. So your windows are going to go in similarly to this. Let's first make sure I have that window loaded in the project. Window. Not sure why it won't let me tag here. Something has me locked out. Edit. Let's just check and see what happens. Type mark. Right now I'm in the properties trying to figure out why it won't let me tag it. So sometimes when I have an issue in Revit, what I'll do is I'll physically come here to go and then say, why can't I bomb, why can't I place a tag on placement of window in Revit? Window tag locations, tag on placement. All right, tag on placement. There's already a thread that already tells me how to do this. So come tag on placement. When you are adding an element in a view, use the tag on placement tool to automatically tag the element as it's placed. When there is no tag loaded for the element, you are prompted to load an appropriate tag. Example, if you select furniture, blank. On the ribbon, select the element to place. On the Modify Place Element tab, tag panel, verify that tag on placement is highlighted, indicating that it is active. If no appropriate tag is loaded. So what I need to find is the tag on placement. Architecture, window, looking for the tab on placement, tab on placement. I don't see that. I don't see that tag on placement. It might not be a feature of the Revit LT, which is the version of Revit that I'm using. So on the ribbon, select the element to place. On the Modify Place Element tab, tag panel, verify that tag on placement is highlighted, indicating is accurate. If no appropriate tag is loaded, you are prompted to load the tag. In the options bar to set orientation of tags, select vertical or horizontal. After you place the tag, you can change it. None of this seems to be relevant. Oh, here's it, tag on placement. Sorry, I missed that. Tag on placement. So you want to select tag on placement in the Modify tab. Now we go back to our window and now we can place it into our wall. And it's not giving me the dimension that I want to go off of, but I'm just going to put my window in and see what happens here. So it placed my tag, didn't quite put in the right spot, which is annoying, but no big deal. If we come back here to the options bar on the ribbon tab, go back to the test. We can see we want 6 feet from face of exterior and we want 8 feet from center to center. So I was a little bit overexcited there. Let's first change this to 8 feet. Oh, 87 inches is not right. Let's go ahead and dimension it so that we can control our window. All right, now we've got this dimension in place. We can control this a little bit better. It's already activated our window dimensions. We can change this to 6. We can change this to 8. Now our windows are placed. That step is complete. Moving back, we want to go to mirror the window along the 110-foot wall. Match the dimensions as shown and mirror the window along the 110-foot wall. So that means click on it and go to the mirror command and we can just mirror from our center line. Now we have that. Didn't click on both. Mirror that. Now we have our windows placed. All right, moving along. Next step here is to adjust the wall height of the exterior wall. Top constraint is roof. They want to change it to 4. We already did this, except I changed the walls to the wrong height. They want their parapet at 4 feet instead of a standard requirement by International Building Code. They want it to be 4. So we just change all that. Now that step is done as well. I just selected all the walls and I changed the top offset to 4. So now in 3D, now this is starting to look pretty respectable. We got our reveal. We have everything in place. We might need to change the sill height of our windows, but it's not telling us we need to do that, so no big deal. The scale, it wants us to change the scale of the drawing to 1/8. Now, I had already had it set to 1/4. I'd already had our level set to 1/4. Let's change it back to 1/8 per the prompts. All right, moving forward. Now done that, we want to add a ceiling. Add a 2x4 ceiling tiles in the 6 spaces shown below. Height of the ceiling is 8'6" above level 1. Rotate one ceiling 90 degrees. Rotate another ceiling 45 degrees. Okay, so To put a ceiling in, pretty simple process. We want to go to architecture, ceiling. We have it set to level 1. We want to check the prompt. It needs to be at 8.6 above level 1, 8.5. Height above offset from level. Now, we could just automatically sketch it, but I prefer to sketch the actual ceiling. So you can go in and physically draw it to the inside of the framing. This doesn't want to grab that wall there. Oh God, this is so frustrating. Let's go to this corner. And just to make sure everything's uniform, we'll do the same on this side. Save it. And now it's not showing me that roof, but that's because it's showing only the reflected ceiling plan. And it's still not there. So let's figure out where it went. I think the problem is that the roof is conflicting with our ceiling. So let's hide the roof, hide element, and see why it's still not there. Compound ceiling ACT system. It should be correctly showing our ceiling, and it's not. So go back to level 1, level 2, still nothing, level 1. We'll try reducing our level. Still not showing us what we need to see here in terms of our roof. So maybe we need to adjust the view range. The view range currently only goes up to 7'6". This is the kind of stuff that, like, you know, I would be banging my head against a wall if I were you guys, where how would you know this? I mean, even in the book prompts, it doesn't really cover this kind of minute detail where we actually have to come up to 9 feet. We actually have to cut at 7.5. We have to change our top range to level 2. Still no visual on that. The next thing we can try to do is come in here to adjust our graphics. So we'll go to edit. What's our finish? Acoustic ceiling tile. If we edit the look of our acoustic ceiling tile, what happens? Now it's trying to load in my background information. Okay, acoustic ceiling tile. It should be showing my pattern. It should be showing my pattern, and it's still not showing it. Still not showing it. That is frustrating. That's really frustrating. Press OK. Press OK. Press OK again. If we come from the bottom of our model, we set up a section box here. We try to get a visual, you know, see, there it is. I can see that my grid is on my model. My grid is on my model, but why then is it not showing up here in my floor plan? Something's wrong. Something's wrong here. We got to figure out why we're not seeing our pattern. What are we missing? What are we missing? Maybe if we try to up our level of detail. No, that's not it. That's not it. Something going on here with our view, our visibility and graphics. Visibility and graphics. We should show our ceiling. I mean, this is a reflected ceiling plan. You would think that it would show our ceiling. And for whatever reason, it's not showing our texture. I still think it could be a view range issue. View range issue is here. We're cut at 7'6". Let's try cutting it 8 foot. Still nothing. Cut it all the way at 8'6". We've gone too far, past all of the walls. So I think the view range has got us messed up here. Now we can see the windows. Let me go back to the prompt. No, it doesn't explicitly ask you to have an actual reflected ceiling plan. Like it's not It's not a requirement of this work that you have a reflected ceiling fan. But again, we can come back to, almost got out of my thing. Why is my reflected ceiling plan texture not showing in Revit? Solved. Material and reflected plan appears. Material and reflected ceiling plan appears differently. That's not the problem we have. Where is the ceiling? Check underlay orientation. Check underlay orientation. That's not a helpful link. So, I mean, this is kind of a process. You just sort of have to check through the forums to find your issue. And this is the biggest skill you learn really here working with Revit, is how to figure this out. So it's asking me, this is not correct. It's not the answer to a problem here. Hatch pattern and gyps shielding. This looks pretty close to what could be the issue. I gave my gyp ceiling a hatch pattern element in the props, but it won't show. I'm having the same problem. I figured it out. I went to the visibility graphics and selected a pattern there under the ceilings category. It worked. Well, it's not really how I want to handle this. The problem that it overrides all ceiling types to show the same pattern. I have multiple ceiling types. So you can see that's not really the answer either. If you have a different ceiling type, require a different hatch, then you need to define these materials and assign them to the ceiling. I've assigned the hatch to the ceiling type in the elements property and it won't show up in plan. I've changed VG under the ceiling category and the visibility content with no overrides. But the ceiling types have the same hatch. The hatch has worked on other projects. What's the detail level? So you see, I thought it was the detail level at first. I've tried 3 detail levels and it won't show up. This might be a stupid question, but is it a true ceiling plan or did you use a floor plan? Remember, ceiling plans are reflective. It's a floor plan you're looking up. It's a true ceiling plan. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through the comments to you guys here. You follow along or speed up, whatever you gotta do. It's really strange that it won't show up. I've had 2 other people in the office look at it. Unless you are not telling us something, the problem must be your file. This is not an issue Revit has normally. Did you try to make a new ceiling level? Interesting, interesting. If we go, again, if we go to our 3D view and view from the bottom, we can see that our ceiling is correct, right? Very frustrating. Very frustrating. So I'm just going to keep moving forward because I don't have a clear solution, but you can see how my ceiling looks. So we'll just copy this ceiling from one room to the next. Copy, copy. All right. So just so that you guys can follow along a little more clearly, I'm going to change my drawing orientation so that everything looks just like the pictures. You'll see the picture looks this way. And we want to add in, rotate the ceilings and everything to make them work. Rotate one at 90 degrees. So we click on the line of the ceiling, click rotate, and we've now changed the orientation of the ceiling. We'll do the same on this second. Click rotate, just type in 45 degrees, and now we've oriented our ceilings correctly. Let's go back to the prompt. Draw a flat roof by footprint, insulation on metal deck, EPDM, extend to the wall core. We've already done this step. We've already done this step. I'm going to turn off my section box. And I have my roof hidden right now, so I just need to press that little light bulb and bring back my roof, unhide element. And you'll see that I just need to change what we've already drawn from generic. I don't even have the type. Oh, here it is. Insulation and metal deck. All right, great. Good, good, good. Moving right along here, it says to extend this to the interior of the wall, which we've already done, I believe, because of the way we drew it. Create a cross section running north-south direction through the building. Rename the sections cross sections. All right, so we'll go to our floor plan, level 1. I'm going to turn off these reflected ceiling plans, and they want a north-south section like so. And if we click on the head of that section, it will automatically open up, and you can see our roof going through the wall into the structure. If we turn up our visibility to fine, now you can really see how that roof is interacting with the wall and resting on the block. You can see how our ceiling is connecting to the framing elements of the wall itself. You can see the reveal in the wall. If I were to move this, if I were to move this so that it was going through the window, now when we go back to our section, you can see the window as well. You can see the door frame beyond. So that's a really useful tool there. That's creating a section. And we want to rename that cross section. So we do that by going down here into the View tab, double clicking it or right clicking it, rename. We're just going to call it cross section. That way, when you put it on the sheet, the title of it will be cross section. And now this is what I was talking about this being under the floor. You know, this is like the foundation wall. So this is how all of this comes together to create the shape of your building. All right. Now let's just check the prompt one more time. I believe we did get everything. And yeah, after this, file, save, right? And that will be your PDF. Let's talk about some ways that you could export your PDF. The one thing you could do is you could, similarly to what we've been doing on our weekly assignments, do a screen snip and, you know, snip it. And start to compose a PDF like we do typically. That's what I would recommend. Do that just like you do your weekly assignments. I've been really impressed with everybody's weekly assignments. They've been doing a great job on that. I would do your cross section, same procedure, snip, draw that in there as well. I would do a view of the 3D view, draw that in there as well. And then I would do the south elevation or north elevation where we can see the windows, snip and make a sheet out of that as well. Another way that you could do this is by printing them if you have a PDF writer installed on your computer. I do, so I can select views, and the views I'm going to select are, I'm going to select all the views, but no sheets. Check all the views, so that's 3D view 1, elevation. I'm going to turn off these other elevations I don't need. Except for south. Let's keep south. I'm going to turn off level 2. We don't need that one. I'm going to keep the site plan. And we already kind of determined that the reflected ceiling plan isn't working on my computer for some reason. But I'm going to keep level 1 reflected ceiling plan in there as well. Okay, so now I'm not going to save this for a future setting. So now I've got all these views that I want to print to, and I'm going to combine them all into one PDF. Now I want to just go ahead and leave it as the default letter. The one thing, center, fit to page. All these look like fine parameters for what we're trying to do here. Press OK. Make sure combine multiple views is selected. Press OK again. And the way Qt PDF works, which you can download that free offline if you don't have a PDF writer, is it is going to create this and place it on my desktop. So bear with me, my computer is pretty slow. see. Still waiting. Oh, here we go. It came up in another. So now to desktop, I'm going to save that PDF document. It's going to automatically save that to my desktop. And you'll see that project has now been saved here. If I open it up, I've got a PDF with every view that we just did, all collated, showing everything. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad, this can help to save you guys time in the future as you start to like develop plans for your house, as you're working on your design class and your own project, so that you can kind of get a presentation together quickly by just having all of your sheets ready to go and then pressing print and doing it that way. All right, so after you do that, you want to submit everything to the Dropbox. Make sure that you also do the quiz as well that goes along with it. I know this was a bit of a long video, but I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and your patience and working through this with me. As always, if you have any questions or you need any help at all, just shoot me an email. We can do a Zoom meeting, or we can do a phone call if that works better for you as well. Thanks a lot for your time, and good luck on the test.